G'day. I'm just looking at that sun. She's going to be a tad warm out here today. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Lookout for Lookouts. I'm currently standing at 352 metres above sea level in the Cobb & Co Park at Yuleba. Now, where the heck is Yuleba? Well, to give you some idea of where we are, about 35 minutes west of us is Roma. How the crow flies, about 395 k's to the Sunshine Coast at Noosa Heads, and about 290 k's by road from Toowoomba to the southwest, and further then down to Brisbane. So that gives you some idea of where we are. But why am I here today? Well, behind me is the Yuleba Fire Tower number 1. Now, this is the westernmost fire tower of all the fire towers that were built in Queensland. This particular tower is a 4-legged one, as opposed to the previous ones I've been showing you, the 3-legged ones. This is a 4-legged one, and it was 36.5 metres tall, and it was the tallest of all the 4-legged fire towers. This was built by Arthur Leese and his team in 1966, and this was the last of the 4-legged fire towers actually built. So what we've got behind me is from 1966 to 2017, the tower was in active use. But as usual, as more and more electronic surveillance came along and satellite imaging, the usefulness of the tower and its commercial use came to an end. So it was going to be scrapped. However, it's now been partially dismantled, brought here to the Cobb & Co Park in Yuleba, and it's currently under restoration. So what we have behind us is just the top section. Now, this particular tower, it's been moved here about 35 kilometres how the crow flies south-southeast is where it was originally located in the Yuleba State Forest. Now, I'll give you some details as where that exactly was when I edit the video, and I'll put that on there. Now, one of the important things about Yuleba is that at August 2024, they celebrated the 100th anniversary of the last running of Cobb & Co coaches in Queensland. It ran from Surat here to Yuleba. Once that was done, that was the last time the Cobb & Co coaches came through and went around all the west of Queensland, delivering mail, people, food, all sorts of things. So it was a significant event, and if you ever get the chance to come out this way, please take the time and look at the local history. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you around to some of the displays they have here and give you an idea of what was the tower doing back in its heyday. All right, so we'll catch you on the other side of the video. G'day. What they've done here in the park is quite clever. Because we can't get up into the Yuleba Fire Tower number 1 cabin at the present moment, because they've taken the stairs away for safety until it's completely refurbished, we'll be able to do that a little later on. Not sure of the date, but as with any of these projects, a lot is dependent on government grants. But this gives you a rough idea of what would actually be up there. So on the table here, you've got a topographical map of the area, maybe 1 to 25,000 in scale because it's fairly detailed. And this particular map is of the observable area that the Yuleba Fire Tower would actually be looking over. So what would happen? A report comes in. Somebody is out in the forest and they've observed smoke in the distance. They ring through the emergency number. That goes to the forestry office, and suddenly you're here in your tower and you get 2 short rings and 1 long ring. Well, that's you. Okay, so they're calling you to let you know that there's a fire and smoke has been seen on the horizon. What do we do now? Well, we've got to locate that particular fire. So if you have a look in the background, It's pretending like you're looking out through a window. You can see the fire there. But we need to find out in what direction it is. So what happens is inside the ceiling of the cabin, down into the center of the map, there is a plumb bob line. And then we can look at that plumb bob line and get a bearing. So if we do that, I'm going to use a ruler on the map to simulate that. So as you can see, there's our fire out there in the Brigalow country, probably burning up a few acres of white cypress or spotted gum or whatever. So let's give us some details. Okay, so we've got our plumb bob line, I'll get that right, down into the center of the map, but I'm going to simulate it with the ruler in that direction there, and we go across, looking on the compass, that's the azimuth on the little map here, and it tells us it's roughly 230 degrees. So that's 230 degrees, that's the bearing to the southwest. That's the detail I would then send through to the ranger's office so fire teams or fire crews could actually respond to deal with that particular fire. So what sort of timber would be burning out there? Well, this tower overlooked hundreds of thousands of hectares of white cypress and also spotted gum and ironbark. They were the main timbers. As a matter of fact, timber industry in this area has been around since 1900 when our first sawmill was established here. So that just gives you a quick idea. Then what I do is I pick up my binoculars, get a close-up view, and I would then give those details to the ranger, who would pass it on to the fire crews via radios. And that way I could also keep an eye out of any changes in direction, wind, or anything else that I would be giving to the fire crews through the rangers at the station. So that's it. That's what you'd be doing from late September through to the following March, and particularly over those hot summer months. And there's heaps and heaps of stories. As a matter of fact, as you go around, you'll find QR codes located. You can scan that QR code on these displays, and that will tell you some of the stories of the various lookouts when they were on duty and things that happened in the past. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next bit of the video. Take care now. G'day, this is Bob the Builder, tower builder that is. You know, it's extraordinary the amount of work and effort that has been put in by the project team to get these displays up and running. Excellent work, and I take my hat off to everybody involved. You know, when you visit these remote and country areas, you find these sorts of things where there are people, a dedicated group of people who are really wanting to maintain and keep a record of their history. Because we know across Queensland, dozens of little country towns are virtually almost fading into non-existence because of the way things are these days. So this is a Yuleba Tower, Yuleba Fire Tower number 1, and one day, when they get everything organised, I might be able to get up there and I'll make another video. Please take the time to come and see these places and enjoy some of the local hospitality. Oh, by the way, if you're going through Miles and you're feeling hungry and you want a good Aussie pie because you've got the long road trip and something to feed the kids with, don't forget to go into Macy's Bakery and get some award-winning pies. I had one there the other day, a chunky beef with some nice creamy mushy peas, and it went down a treat. Really enjoyed it. So please call in there and see them and enjoy some of that country hospitality. As we go over to where we were before, if you have a look down on the table here, you will see a book that I'm just directing to now. This is the Fire Observer's logbook. That is all the details recorded as events have taken place during an emergency, and particularly during those hot summer months. G'day, Barry. Old Barry over there is ever vigilant with his binoculars to the eyes and keeping a lookout out on that horizon. So listen, guys, when you're out this way, take care on the roads, watch for the kangaroos and the logging trucks, and we will catch you on the next video.